Welcome to Home Biz Tax Talk. My name is Lysandra Everett. I am the Home Biz Tax Lady and principal owner of Everett Tax Solutions, where we help you win the tax game. Home Biz Tax Talk airs Monday through Friday, and when you tune into my show, you're going to hear about topics that are important to the home business community. Okay, so I have been waiting for this one, quite honestly. I'm not even going to lie. So the first person who was actually charged with PPP loan fraud has finally been sentenced. His name is David Stavely. He had a few aliases. David Sanborn from Andover, Mass. And he conspired with his buddy David Butzger of Warwick, Rhode Island for PPP loan fraud. So they were first charged back in March of 2020, I do believe. Hold on. I do believe it charged in March or whatever. They were the first ones. All right. So then what had happened was they were seeking about $500,000, a little over $500,000 in PPP loan funds. And what the report says, I had to go back and refresh my memory because I remember reporting on this. So they were requesting loan applications and stating that they had dozens of employees at 3 restaurants, 2 in Warwick, Rhode Island, 1 in Berlin, Massachusetts. And then there was another restaurant, Rhode Island restaurant, in which he had nothing to even do with that restaurant. This guy used his brother's information to get these PPP loan funds. Okay, it's bananas. But where it went left, all right, is that, so first of all, it says Stavely's Massachusetts restaurant was closed by March 10th. And then that's when Berlin revoked his business liquor license for numerous reasons, including that Sanborn had misrepresented that his brother owned the restaurant. And the investigators also found information that they used Stavely's brother's information in other real estate transactions as well. They was just using that poor brother. Okay, so now here's where it went left. So it says that in April of 2020, Butzger filed an application seeking $105,000, but he was really dealing with an undercover FBI agent who was posing as a bank compliance officer. So this dude told the FBI agent that he had 7 full-time employees at this other company, Doc Wireless, which was an unincorporated business, and that he had brought the employees on full-time in January, and they had been working without pay, and he was going to use the PPP loan funds to pay them. Well, they went to the Rhode Island Department of Labor, and they had no record of any type of employee wages that had been paid by Butzger or Doc Wireless. And the agents interviewed these employees to confirm what they had already suspected. Now, what I found interesting here is usually the government doesn't tell you how they catch people. I don't know why they decided to do that with this particular case, but they did. So, but we already knew this, right? All they were going to do is computer matching, looking for states in their Department of Labor to see if you had any withholdings there and looking for those employment taxes. Also, if you claim that you have employees, then you have to have Social Security numbers and such. And so they're also going to run those Social Security numbers to see if any income was filed based on your businesses. Okay. This is something, again, that was easy peasy lemon squeezy to catch, because it really didn't take a whole lot of work to catch the fraud part, right? So he's been sentenced to 4.5 years in prison. Now, for $500,000, he probably could have got away with 18 months, because based on the sentences that I have seen, the feds are averaging about 3 years per million. There are people that have stolen right at $1 million. There are people that have stolen multiple millions of dollars. But on average, the feds have been averaging about 3 years per million. But here's where Mr. Stavely here was extra, okay? So he was supposed to, they charged him and let him go, right? They did the ankle monitoring thing, right? He was supposed to appear in court in June. But what Mr. Stavely decided to do was to remove his ankle monitoring. Then he faked his own suicide. It said that he he staged his own suicide and fled. He left suicide notes with associates and left his wallet in his unlocked car that he parked at the ocean in Massachusetts. Further investigation determined that he had traveled to various states with false identities and stolen license plates. He was apprehended by the U.S. Marshal Service in Alpharetta, Georgia on July 23rd, 2020. Now, if you don't know where Alpharetta is, it's about 25 miles north of Atlanta. So you did all of that work from May 26th to July 23rd, and you only got as far as Atlanta. That just tickles the snot out of me. But anyway, so I'm assuming he probably got that extra time because he fled and faked his own suicide. So he got 4.5 years in prison. His co-conspirator has yet to be sentenced. That's supposed to happen in November. So the sentences are now coming. They're now working their way through the system. And I'll continue to watch for, things that have, been prominent enough for me to share about. I know that, previously we shared about Arkansas Mo and that whole deal. And there were a lot of people that felt like he was targeted. But the fact is that he was not the first. These people right here, these dudes from the New England area, they were the first. It's just that Mr. Stavely here dragged it on out a little bit more because he decided to run and fake his own suicide. So it took him a little while to find him and bring him to justice. Okay. So yeah, it's happening, and I'll let y'all know what happens with his co-conspirator whenever that comes out. So yeah, the sentences are coming, and there's still time if you know you got this money fraudulently, and just give it back, right? If you know that it was fraudulent, and it's not worth rolling the dice to me to gamble with your freedom, especially for $20,000. Is that really worth it? Or even the millions, right? Because the truth is that for this fraud, they could have gotten upwards to 30 years in prison. And that's probably why dude ran, because he wasn't trying to get sent up for 30 years. But that's the truth. You put yourself in the position to be sentenced to 30 years in prison. And to me, that alone should be scary enough. But evidently it's not for folks because there's so much of this PPP loan fraud. So all right. Well, that's it for today, folks. So there you go. The first person ever prosecuted for PPP loan fraud has finally been sentenced. All right. So thank you guys so much for tuning in to Home Biz Tax Talk. Again, we air Monday through Friday, and you can come right here to get your questions answered about your home business taxes. All right. Have a great day, and I will see you all next time. Bye.